If you're planning to move into a new home and you don't need to sell your current home, you might be wondering whether you should hold on to that low interest rate and rent it out or whether you should sell it. Here are some things that I recommend considering, and I'm happy to help people in reviewing all of these different options and coming up with the numbers. Step one is to get clear on the numbers. A lot of people are like, okay, my monthly payment is this, I think I can rent the house for this. But there's a lot of other numbers that you really need to think about. The real cost of renting is going to include 1 month's rent for a leasing fee, 2 to 3 months of vacancy. If you plan to hire a property management company, that's going to be 10% of the monthly rent. And then you probably want to factor in another 10% of the annual rent for maintenance and repairs. So then take all of those numbers, and that's going to give you a much better idea of the actual cost of renting versus the monthly payment. I'm not going to say that if you take a loss on an annual basis, that's a bad thing or you shouldn't do it. I think the important thing is to know what it's actually going to cost. A lot of people don't want to rent out their home if it's going to cost them money every year. Next, I would consider, do you anticipate needing or wanting to sell your home in the next few years? So I think that rental properties can be a great long-term investment. They're not necessarily a great short-term investment, and especially in DC with the way the landlord-tenant laws work, it's not always possible to determine when a property will become vacant again. Once you rent it, tenant might be there for a while, and that's really beyond your control as a landlord. Tenant-occupied homes sell at a steep discount, so we want to try to avoid selling a home with a tenant in place. Not to mention it's very disruptive to them. Last, I would consider how comfortable are you with carrying the housing payment for up to 12 months without rental income if that becomes necessary. In DC, the eviction process takes 9 to 12 months. During that time, you wouldn't have rental income. Also, what's your level of financial comfort with something major on your home breaks? You need a new heating and cooling system. You need a new roof. It's important to have kind of a cushion of money set aside so that your rental property doesn't become a financial burden and negatively impact your other financial decisions. I generally don't think it's a good idea to keep a property as a rental property if you're just doing it to see if the market conditions are a little bit better in a year. The cost of renting and preparing your home for sale after a tenant moves out are likely going to be greater than any benefit if we really look at the numbers. So these are the things that I would consider. I am very pro rental property as an investment strategy. Not every property is a great rental property. Another option always is to sell this property and purchase another one. That might be a better rental, might be more in line with your goals. And last but not least, being a landlord does take work. Even if you have a management company, it's still going to take time and effort. And there are certainly other investment options that are a lot more hands-off.